Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Player's Take, episode 302. I'm your host, Justin DeSimone, joined by my co-host, Montrell Rice. Montrell, Christmas is over. Did you have a wonderful Christmas?
Yeah, I just did nothing all day. I loved it.
So, yeah, you didn't... I know your family's in, up in Detroit, so you didn't really do anything. No big dinner or anything?
No, yeah, we just ate with my mother-in-law, and that was it.
Gotcha.
And
Gotcha.
yeah,
Okay.
we watched Christmas movies, and that was about it.
Ooh, what'd you watch?
The only one they watched like a couple of them. Only one I watched was I think it's called the Red One with the Rock. That's the one I watched.
Okay. I
Yeah,
watched Home Alone when we got home from my mother-in-law's house.
I thought about throwing that on. To be honest with you, as a classic Christmas
Dude,
movie.
I haven't seen it in a really long time, probably 10 years or more.
Hmm.
And I mean, I know this the movie, right? It's like it's an iconic movie. I watched it a shitload when I was a kid, you know. I
Yeah.
love that movie. And then but yeah, I forgot some of the finer details of it though, and yeah, it's I mean it absolutely holds up. It's a great fucking movie.
Yeah.
But it is, dude, it is so 90s. I love it. It's great cuz you got the landline phones, and the fucking the old TVs and shit. Like it's funny. Like they literally mentioned Micro Machines in the movie, which was one of my favorite toy brands when I was a kid. Were the old Micro Machines. And I mean he uses those as part of his traps that he does, later in the movie.
Yeah.
So no, it's just a really nostalgic movie. Some of the dialogue is hilarious though. I forgot at the beginning like how mean they were to Kevin at the beginning of the movie. One of the kids says that you're a disease or something like that. And then Uncle Frank is like, "Look what you did, you little jerk." It's just, dude, it's hilarious, man. So no, it's a great movie. I'm glad we watched it. We were gonna watch two, but we got home a little later than we thought. So I wanted to watch Jingle All the Way. But maybe save that. We'll probably save that for next year. So,
Okay.
um, but yeah, no, I had a good Christmas as well. I spent Tuesday night with my mom. We watched It's a Wonderful Life with her. My wife had actually never seen it. Um, and yeah, that's a great film as well. Great Christmas film. And then yesterday, yeah, we were at my mother-in-law's house and watched some football. Had some we had some beef tenderloin, which was fucking so good. And then yeah, I came home, watched Home Alone. So it's a good holiday. We hope those of you out there listening had a good Christmas as well. Spent some time with family, or if you didn't, at least you had a good day as well. So, Montreal, we're here today. This is not a normal episode of the show. There will be no news. We will not be talking about games we're playing for the most part. And yeah, this is our game preview for 2025 episode that we do every year. We're going to talk about the games we're looking forward to in 2025. So, I mean, Montreal, we both got our lists. Do you want to just jump right in?
Yes, sir.
All right, let's do it. So my list this year is a little shorter than usual. I was looking at last year's list, and I kind of noticed like my list was really long, and there were a bunch of games on it that I never actually ended up playing. So I kind of tried to keep the list a little bit more, I don't know, realistic this year. Games I'm actually probably going to play. So yeah. So let's start with the ones that actually have release dates first. And we'll just go in order, meaning that we're going to start with Monster Hunter Wilds on February 28th. It's kind of the first big game of the year for me. Montreal, where are you at right now with this game? Like, where's your head at?
Uh, I'm still on the fence about it. To be honest with you, I I don't know, man. I don't. I want to know if the combat's going to force me to keep mounting my like companion. That's going to be like a integral part of the game.
Yeah.
It just didn't feel too good when I was playing it, and I know they said they're going to change it and everything like that, but
Hmm.
the game feels significantly slower than like Wild, or I'm sorry, than Rise, which
Yeah. Which World was like that too?
yeah, which I probably have to get used to again. hopefully there are some like unlockable moves. Like, I mean, there's never really too many unlockable moves, but like, hopefully you can unlock like a different like style or maybe some additional moves to help you out or whatever the case may be. I don't know. I do like the mechanic that you can switch your loadout when you're on your mount.
Yeah.
I I personally am not a fan of the focus mechanic. It just feels really weird.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be better for other like I'm a hammer main, so it really didn't do anything for me. Like my whole thing is the head,
Yeah.
and that's what I'm gonna go for.
Yeah.
I feel like for other classes though, particularly like the great sword, maybe the long sword, and the dual swords, and the lance, pretty much. You guys will be eating, but for like blunt
Yeah.
weapon people, I think we're going to be left in the dust on this game, until like maybe a G rank version of this game comes out and they
Mhm.
add more moves or something like that. Because as of right now, um, it just felt really lackluster, and that could have been also because of the impact, the hit stun they took out as well,
Mm.
because it was
Yeah.
practically no hit stun in the game when I was playing it. Um, and I'm glad other people addressed it because I couldn't figure out what it was. And I remember I was talking to you about it, but I didn't know what it was called. I'm like, it felt like my moves were like just hitting like butter. Like
Yeah.
it didn't
Yeah.
feel good at all.
Yeah.
Which would probably be cool if I was a sword main, but I'm a hammer main, so I need that impact just so I can feel like I'm doing something. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, it didn't when I played that demo, it didn't feel too good. So hopefully they kind of a lot of other people were like super hype about it, but I was actually not that hype about it, to be honest with you. I was just like, yikes, I don't know about this one, boys. But
Well, I didn't play the demo for many of the reasons you're saying. I did not really. I figured there were some things they were ironing out. I don't want to play the game before it's released. Anyways, I don't care that much. I'm just gonna play it when it comes. So I don't have any of these like hands-on feelings that you have with it.
mm,
So I'm just kind of more I don't know. I'm ready for it. I'm excited about the game. I don't think I am with you with the mount thing a little bit with how much they seem to be abusing it in the pre-release footage they've shown of the game. I'm kind of just like I'm kind of with you on that. Like I don't want to be constantly on the mount when you're fighting, you know, and if that's the meta of this game, it is going to be a little annoying.
yeah,
Um, I mean, I'm sure you're not really going to have to fight like that. It's kind of just a choice, maybe potentially. So if that's the case, then I'll just fight the way I want to fight. But if it's a thing where it's required, where the monster moves are so wide that you don't like, you're not able to dodge them without jumping on your mount real quick. It's like that's kind of going to be an annoying mechanic to me. So I'm not sure. I mean, environmentally and stuff, I'm very excited about the game, systems wise, and the monsters look really good. But yeah, I mean, some of the stuff about the weapons though is a little concerning. It feels like they wanted to change some stuff for this game, and they kind of missed the mark with what they wanted to do. So hopefully they just kind of keep it simple and mostly like don't change the way the game feels too much. It's like give us new moves and combos and stuff. Like that's great. Add that stuff. That's kind of what I wanted from the next game after World. But um we don't need you like getting rid of hit stop, and stuff like that. Like the game feels good, has always felt good the way it's played, with
yeah.
things like
I,
that.
I
So
I don't know why they got rid of it. Or why they said it was like it was minimal, but it felt like nothing was there for the hit
well, no,
stop
I
at
remember
all.
reading they said they turned it off. Like it was off. Like
Oh, it
it
was off? Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
That shit felt
yeah.
terrible. I don't know whose idea that was, man.
Yeah, yeah,
That they need to fire that person because that person I understand. I think they were trying to make the game feel more fluid.
yeah,
And then like I said, if you're playing like and this is where like I think I don't and this is my theory, right? My theory is long sword is the flashiest weapon in the game besides dual swords.
hmm
So you would want that buttery feel. You don't really want hit stop when you're doing longsword, I guess. But
yeah,
like, I don't know, man. Like trying to tailor the game around the longsword, because you even to me, you even want to hit stop when you're playing a great sword.
yeah.
So yeah,
Definitely.
just tailoring it to me, it seemed like it was strongly tailored towards longsword users and maybe dual sword users, but I don't think dual swords is as popular as longsword. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm putting this all on the dual sword users. Like ever since y'all got joined the game, y'all been ruining my game. I
Oh
need y'all
my
to leave now.
god, shut up, dude. Dude, how long has Dual Swords been in the game, like in the series?
Not dual swords. I'm talking about long
Oh,
swords. Long sword
longsword. I'm
users.
not a longsword player. I don't fucking play that weeb shit. Get out of
I
here,
didn't
bro.
say I didn't say it was you. I said
Okay.
maybe.
Okay. Well, you
I
said
said
you okay, you're using
I
the
said
royal you.
maybe I
Yes,
said
yes.
maybe dual swords, but
Yeah.
long
Yeah,
sword
leave
users
us
are more
alone,
popular.
man. We were just over here fucking flipping around on the monster, okay? Like let us do our thing.
Yeah, longsword users are more popular, and I think they're trying to tailor the game for longsword users, which I don't like.
Yeah.
I know longsword is very noob friendly. It is
I mean,
a
longsword are the Yasuo players of Monster Hunter, you know? Like
oh my god, you just triggered me because that's exactly what they are. They're definitely the they're definitely the fucking Yasuo of fucking. They're the Genchi. If you play Overwatch,
Oh
fucking
yeah. Oh yeah.
DJ,
Yeah.
they're like the Genchi players of fucking
Yeah. 100%.
of Overwatch or Diva, who are people who don't know how to play those fucking characters because they're popular. Um, yeah, longsword users are like the worst, especially when I think they got rid of the tripping, but
Yeah.
when tripping was crazy in the old Monster Hunter, oh my god, bro, it was so bad. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
but I think I just have to play a little bit more. I only played like maybe 2 hours of it, and then I was like kind of done with it. Everybody else though seemed to love it. Even people coming from Wild, or I'm sorry, even people coming from Rise, they seem to love it, and people coming from World seem to love it a lot too. Me, I was just like, it feels really. And like I said, maybe this is the game where how you felt about Rise, where they didn't have enough. Oh no, I'm sorry, it was Worlds, right? Where they didn't have enough stuff
Moves,
for
yeah.
your
Yeah.
for dual swords. Maybe this is how maybe it's my turn to feel like that for wilds where I just felt like I feel like Hammer got shafted like really bad.
Mhm.
So I actually think um hunting horn is gonna be easier this game though. I do think that.
Okay.
Um I did see some people say that they kind of reworked it a little bit to make it more fluid. Um but yeah, I don't know.
Well, this is why I think anybody asking for more weapons for Monster Hunter, like we need to chill out with that. you know,
Yeah.
um, they have trouble keeping the 14 weapons they have balanced and fun for everybody in every game. So, because I agree with you. There's always a weapon or two every game that feels like it got the shaft.
Yeah.
Where it's just not like it's not balanced or it doesn't have enough moves or it's just not fun to play for one reason or another or the way the game feels and plays like and I don't think dual swords was necessarily in that camp in world that much. Like it was fun to play, it's just it felt a little limited, like you really only had like one or two things that you were doing at any given time. Like it wasn't complicated, it was a very simple weapon to play in world.
Yeah.
um and as somebody who's played dual blades, in every game pretty much, like it's not always been that way, so especially in like generations, generations was super fucking fun to play
I just think that
as
Generations is like that was the wrong game to release before like you started the
world.
new version of
Yeah.
Monster Hunter. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
it was the wrong thing to do because
But yeah,
now
even in
people are
Rise
into
though,
that.
Dual Blades was awesome in Rise, dude. Like
Man, the hammer was really good. I think a lot of weapons, despite Rise, could have been like the really perfect game, if it just didn't release it,
it
like
was
the way it
content.
did.
It was all content. It wasn't
Yeah,
gameplay.
man.
Gameplay felt
Yeah,
great. We always said that. Gameplay felt excellent in Rise, but yeah, it was just content. Like there just wasn't enough content in the game. You know, so
yeah. So I, I'm hoping that they. I don't think they learned anything. To be honest with you, I don't know, man. I'm trying not to be negative about this game, but I just don't know. I have to play it more, to be honest with you. That's where I'm
hmm
standing at right now. I am hyped to play it, but I just have to play it more. So it is what it
okay,
is.
all right, fair enough. Well, still looking forward to it, but yeah, I'm not like I'm not like crazy. I'm not like going crazy, but I'm very excited still at the same time. So all right, next game. This is coming up on March 20th. This is also for both of us, is Xenoblade Chronicles X on Switch. I don't know how much more there is to say about this game necessarily for us. I mean, we've talked about this game ad nauseum, for years, but Um, you know, how are you feeling? I mean, the one thing I'm concerned about, I guess, um, is my prediction when this game was announced, the release date for this game was announced, was that the Switch 2 was going to come out at the beginning of March for the 8th anniversary of the original Switch release. That's starting to sound like it's not going to happen. Rumors since this announcement have really been that it's kind of be coming out in the early summer, maybe. The Switch 2, which means if that's true, that Xenoblade Chronicles X is purely going to be a Switch game when it comes out. And gonna be frank, I'm not sure the Switch is gonna be able to handle this game with how big an open world it is. So, um, is that a concern for you? Performance with the game on Switch?
Yeah, actually, it is kind of disappointing. Because I was hoping this would either release alongside, not alongside the Switch, two, but like,
Yeah,
it gets announced and then 2 or 3 months later the Switch Two is dropped or whatever, and then I
yeah,
can just play it on the Switch Two because I'm probably gonna be playing a lot more other games before I can get to this one. But I'll probably be honest, I'll probably drop everything for this game when it comes out.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, I don't know. I think they're doing themselves. I don't know what they're waiting for.
yeah.
Are they just waiting for the economy or where what I want to know what their projections are. Like why are they doing what they're doing?
Mhm.
Everything of that nature. So
Okay, yeah,
I don't know.
uh, yeah, I'm with you. I mean, um, the game, the game is the game. We've played the game before, right? We know it's gonna be fun. It's just really a
Yeah.
matter of if it comes out on the if we know the Switch 2 date by the time this game releases, and it's like May or something, I may just wait and get it on like get the Switch 2 and then play it on there. Because I really don't want to play like a laggy frame rate dropping version of this game with a low resolution, necessarily. Um that's
Yeah,
not yeah.
I will say like I hope it is an actual definitive edition. I mean
Hmm.
they usually do good on their definitive edition. They did really good on Xenoblade Chronicles One,
Yeah.
definitive edition. But I really do hope they streamline a lot of shit.
Yeah.
Particularly the missions. Like people are gonna get really turned off by those missions if they don't streamline that shit. So
Yeah, for sure.
also the map functionality, I couldn't I may be wrong, but it had a bad way of telling you where to go in the map. You just had to kind of explore, which was like part of the fun, but also
I don't
like
agree. I totally disagree actually. The way the map
really?
was Yeah, because the way the game worked was, and I don't know, maybe this wasn't like super well known, but the map was a hex, like had hexes on it,
Yeah.
and every hex had one thing on it in it for you to do. Um,
Okay. Maybe I didn't know.
so the way the game played out, you just went to each hex, and the game would mark off the hex like with something when you finish whatever was in there. Um, and yeah, so to me, I felt like it worked pretty well personally. Um, I didn't have an issue with it.
Well, it was more so like just telling you where to go for your missions and stuff like that. I don't know. It just seemed really weird, but I haven't. I gotta play it again. I just remember being kind of frustrated with that. But
Okay. Yeah.
and I also like to set up like multiple waypoints. Like I'm that guy that likes to set up put waypoints for certain things
Mhm.
to remind me to go certain places on maps and stuff like that. I really appreciate when games do that. Actually,
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Um next game is Atelier Yumiya, which I don't see on your list here, but I remember you were kind of interested in this when you saw the trailer.
yeah.
This is the next game after Atelier Ryza 3. So this is going to be a new entry in the series, and it does look like a step up from Atelier Ryza 3 from my eyes, for sure. I never ended up finishing Atelier Ryza 3. I really like the game a lot. It's still in my head to go back and finish it, for sure. Was a very fun game. I enjoyed the crafting system a lot. The combat was fun. The exploration was fun as well in the game. I'm just curious what changes they're going to make to the series for this newest installment, because this seems like kind of a jump for them. They're kind of positioning it as that, for the series. So I'm curious what that's going to look like. What about you with this game? You haven't played any of these games before, so what's piquing your interest about it?
The combat looks really fucking dope, man. Uh,
Yeah.
and Yuma, it looks like more of a Atelier Rising, but it looks like they meant more action instead of like Atelier Rising was kind of like pause action type combat. You take your turn and you put in certain inputs, I believe, from what I played, and then your other teammates can do their thing as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
This one looks a little bit more free floating. As far it still has that Atelier Rise combat, but it looks like it's more on the action oriented side of it, but
Hmm.
not far enough to where people can be like, "Oh, this is a pure action game. This is Final Fantasy 16." And I don't think it's gonna get
Yeah.
that kind of a backlash or
Yeah.
whatever. So
Yeah. Um, yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I don't know much more about the game than what we've seen. There's really only a couple trailers. It's not that hasn't gotten a ton of stuff shown, but it's coming on March 21st, so it's relatively soon. So, given that it's right next to Xenoblade Chronicles X, if the Switch 2 is not out, I'm probably going to play this over X at that point in time, more than likely.
okay,
That's
this will
kind of
be
what.
on the PS5, so it'll
Yes,
definitely look a lot better. So
yes, yes. For sure. And I don't know. I'm just kind of excited that I'm into this series now. It's kind of fun to discover a new. Like I've always known about the Atelier games, right? They've been around for since like the PS2 generation, I think. So this is not a new series or anything like that. It's well established. It has a well established fan base. So I'm just excited to be a part of it, I guess now. And get a new game. It's been a couple years. By the time this comes out, it will have been a couple years since Rise 3 came out, and yeah, so I'm looking forward to it. It's gonna be fun. All right. One more game that we know the release date for is on your list is Assassin's Creed Shadows coming on February 14th.
yes.
Surprised this is on your list. Are you really excited about this?
They actually showed some recent gameplay of it, and they totally revamped the combat, and it looks really
Okay.
good actually. So I am going to give it a shot. I wasn't going to give it a shot before because the combat looked pretty stale, but after they showed what they did to it and why they delayed it,
Mm,
the delay actually looked like it went into you know probably not changing the story and the character, which I'm glad they actually didn't step down from that. But they definitely revamped the combat a lot. And I appreciate that. So they add a lot more depth to it.
mhm.
And I'm actually interested in it now. So yeah, I'm gonna give it
Okay.
a shot.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Assassin's Creed in Japan is like, it's the obvious game. Everybody's always been so excited about it for a very long time. I'm just, I don't know. I'm not into Assassin's Creed. I guess I might check the game out if it's gets like rave reviews or something. But I still think about Odyssey a lot. I played 20 or 30 hours of that game and never went back. Um, but it wasn't because the game wasn't fun. It was just that I had other stuff to play at the time, from what I remember, and I remember that game being like overwhelmingly huge. Um, and this is another game that I always thought about. Like I always think about like going back to every once in a while, where I'm just like, yeah, Odyssey was really cool, man. Maybe I should go back and fucking play that game for real. But you just never find the time for it, you know. And yeah, Shadows is my lack of interest has nothing to do with any of the controversy around it. It's really just that I'm not that big of an Assassin's Creed fan. The way they do combat and the RPG mechanics in their games is very that's kind of the one thing from Odyssey that I remember being like, it's really not that great. The combat's just not that I don't know how to explain it. Like I don't remember it feeling that good, I guess is what I should say.
Yeah, so I mean, what you experienced, what you played. I mean, have you played old Assassin's Creed games?
No, I've not.
Okay, so that did not used to be the combat. That's combat started with Origins.
Mhm.
Uh, the RPG mechanics of it. It used to just be a regular action stealth game, with parkour in it,
Gotcha. Okay.
um, and stuff like that. So when I played Assassin's Creed 1 through 4, Um, and like I said, it didn't have those RPG mechanics. All you did was you ran around buildings, parkour. It's a giant map you had or whatever, open world. And then they added, other mechanics like in Assassin's Creed Brotherhood. You had your main character that you control, but you can set up traps and depending on your popularity and stuff like that, you can call other assassins to do your deeds for you. So you can call like a
Mm,
team of assassins to make a distraction for you or assassinate somebody for you. Or if there's like a whole group of enemies, you can call them down to kill those enemies or whatever while you're trying to chase the main target or something like that. So they
yeah.
added a lot of stuff over time. And then like obviously in Assassin's Creed 4, you were like a pirate. So you can not only were you going to different islands doing stuff and things of that nature, but you're also like boarding other ships and taking over other ships and stuff like that.
Mm, mhm.
So and then like in Assassin's Creed 3, that's where they kind of started the ship fighting mechanic, but you weren't
Yes.
boarding ships, I don't believe.
Yeah.
Uh, but you were still like, you're in the colonial times. I thought that period was pretty cool to be in. Um, and you were like a Native American assassin and stuff like that. You're like mixed, so you're like on both sides or whatever. Or the case. So I don't know. I thought the Assassin's Creed games were really cool. They didn't. I mean, they carried that all the way up until Origins because they had like Syndicate, they had Rogue, and then another one I believe after that.
Unity?
Um, Unity. There you go. Yeah,
Yeah.
Unity. Um,
Which that was the one with the
so
her like the faces weren't rendering.
yeah, that was the bad one.
Yeah, yeah,
Well,
yeah.
a lot of people say once it got fixed, it was actually good, but I actually didn't play it or whatever.
Okay.
Um,
Gotcha.
but yeah, Origins was the one where it was in Egypt, and that's the one where it
Yeah,
started the RPG mechanic.
I remember.
And yeah, and then all of them started to do that afterwards. It looks like in this game they're dropping the RPG mechanic. That's why I'm like interested
Oh,
in it.
really?
Yeah.
Okay. That'll
If you
make me
check
a
out
little
the
bit
the more
more.
recent videos, it looks like they're dropping the RPG mechanic.
Okay.
Um, so that's why I'm more so interested in it because not only does the samurai his combat looks really cool, because he has different weapons he can use for different things for different types of enemies.
Yeah.
But the ninja, her stuff looks really cool as well, and what she can do and everything. So yeah, I'm just really I'm interested now. So
Okay. Yeah, because that was the issue with Odyssey. I remember with the RPG stuff was that the game would just scale
hmm
levels with you. So at any given time, if you were within the level range of an area, that area would scale up to its level max. So you never felt like you were getting that much more powerful. So if you didn't upgrade your gear every time you leveled up, you actually were weaker, than the level before, which is not how an
yeah,
RPG is supposed to fucking feel. So that was not super fun. And then the other thing I remember, and this is kind of I don't. Did you ever play Odyssey? Did you actually play Odyssey or no?
I played a little bit. We were
Okay.
playing at the same time, but I
Okay.
didn't
Do
I
you
didn't go in depth with
remember
it.
the combat? I remember the combat feeling like Final Fantasy 15 to some degree, where it was like kind of one button combat, where you just press the attack button and your character would attack. You know? Do you
Yeah,
remember that?
yeah, yeah. I do. Yeah.
And yeah, I think that might have been my other issue with the game is that, you know, because I was playing like a dual wielding dagger fighting style, and I remember my character was just attacking so fucking fast. It was weird. It was like it didn't feel right.
hmm
I didn't feel like I was really in control of my character sometimes. I don't know. So that was kind of my issue there. But yeah, if there's no equipment or RPG mechanics and stuff, I mean, that certainly is appealing to me. So we'll see. I'll see what the game looks like when it comes out and make a decision from there personally. So all right, Montreal, let's move on. What's the next game you want to talk about?
So I got South of Midnight. I've been looking forward to this game ever since it was announced. Uh, it's an action game.
Hmm.
Uh, takes place in the deep Louisiana South.
Yep.
But modern is not going to be like like it back in the day or whatever. It's more modern. It's a modern version. Main character it has to deal with like because like my family's from Louisiana, even though I was born in Detroit, but we went
Mm-hmm.
back to Louisiana a lot. So I like all the voodoo type stuff, and this has to do with a lot of the whole Louisiana culture of that. But it's an action game, and I saw someone say this is like a while ago, that it's a Dark Souls-esque game, and I'm like, it's
Oh
not. It's
god.
nothing like a dark. It's an action game.
Ugh.
It actually
I'm tired
reminds me of
tired of that
like
shit.
Darksiders or something like that. That's what it
Yeah,
reminds me of. Like, just
yeah.
how action games should just be action games. They weren't trying to be anything else. Um, and that's what this game reminds me of. Just like a pure like PlayStation 3 action game or whatever. It looks like it's taking. It also has like a specific art style. It looks like a stop motion art style, which is really cool. During the cutscenes, it looks like stop motion, but actually, when you're playing the game, it's like a regular video game. So I like it. I think the art style looks really cool and everything of that nature. And yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I just think it's a really cool game. I can already see what people are going to be saying about it, like, "Oh, DIE," because the main character's black, a black woman, but
Oh my
that is
god.
also that's also like the culture. So it's like
Yeah, I don't know
I
what, like,
it's
dude.
not like it's not like you're taking a black woman and putting her in fucking
Yeah,
Celtic,
like
you
Louisiana
know.
is a very black state. So
Yeah,
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what people's problem is there.
yeah.
Like,
So
I don't know, dude.
um,
You can't
yeah,
win anymore. There's no that video you sent me like kind of like talks about it a bit is like it's just so simplistic the way people uh kind of discourse about these things now. It's just it's like black person DEI. It's like no, no.
well, I like how he was tackling both sides of it too, right? He was
Yeah,
like black
no, for
person
sure, for
DEI,
sure.
and then
Yeah.
he was like, "Oh, you're saying something," and then the libs feel like they're morally superior to you, and I'm like, "Yep, that's exactly
That's
that's
exactly
exactly
it, man. Yeah, that's exactly it. So,
so."
whatever. I don't even know what the like. I honestly want to try to like stop paying attention to this shit as much because it's so unimportant. Like nobody cares, right? Anybody who's a real human, uh, doesn't give a shit about this stuff. Like those people who talk like that are bots, like straight up. Like
Well,
not to
yeah,
be
that's what
not
he
to
was
be mean,
saying.
not to be mean, but they're not people who I don't even know, like I don't want to say it like this, but it's like they don't matter to me. Like they're just not
No,
important, you
they
know?
they just don't go outside. They need to touch grass,
Yeah,
like
for real, right. Get real
um.
friends, like actually like experience the world, you know?
Yeah,
So
exactly. So, I feel like this is unfortunately going to be a victim of that. But like, yeah, I type in South the Midnight gameplay, and then I'm watching the gameplay footage of it. But then on the side where you have the recommended videos, and it says gamers reject this slop, and I was
oh
like,
my god, bro. Yeah.
I was like, what are you talking about, man?
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, and also who's gamers in that context? Like, we're gamers.
Yeah, it says
We
South
don't
of
reject
Midnight
it.
Studios tries to play victim. And it's like, victim to what? I've literally haven't heard anything bad about this game. Like,
Right.
so I don't know.
Like we questioned it when it was first revealed, right? Like we weren't really sure what it was going to be and like if it was up to par, but after that most recent trailer on the Xbox showcase this year, like it looks a lot more interesting, you know?
Yeah, it definitely
So,
does. And that's why I'm interested in it. Um I don't know. I just think ever since we discovered that Sweet Baby Ink shit,
oh my
uh
god.
everybody has been going on their bullshit about it. So
Yeah.
like you said, like that other video said that we talked about, I'm gonna stop talking about it because it's nothing but like dollar signs behind it. The more you talk
Yep.
about it, the more people,
Yep. We're just feeding
like,
into it.
yeah, we're just feeding into it. So it's just
Yeah.
like, that's why I actually don't get on Twitter anymore because that actually promotes that type of engagement, and people get paid off that type of engagement. So like when you see someone say something really stupid, like I don't know, black people are dumb, and then someone like dunks on them with like a whole fucking paragraph, like, "Hey, actually, black people aren't dumb," and you're like, "All right, man, like,
They have
what
more
did
they
you?"
have more PhDs per capita than white people.
Yeah, yeah, it's like, what did you prove with that? Like, no one cares. Like in the grand scheme of things, no one cares. They got money off the
Right.
engagement,
Yeah.
and you probably got some money if you're not if you're not a fucking verified on Twitter. If you verify on Twitter, you probably got some money off of it. So it's just a revolving door of people eating themselves. But I hope, uh, yeah, South of Midnight it looks really good. The story looks really good. It doesn't have to. It just looks like a really cool game. In the mythos of like uh Louisiana culture and Cajun culture and voodoo culture and all that other stuff like that. So I'm looking forward to it.
Cool, cool. All right. Let's see. What's my next game I want to talk about? So so I have this on the list. Is Borderlands 4. So this is
Oh
the
my
probably
god.
I put a question mark on it because I mean I'm really not sure. I'm not sure I'm going to sit here and say that I'm excited about it per se, but I am a mark for Borderlands as like a franchise and the gameplay genre it's in and the systems it has and everything. So I'm not sure. I'm gonna be honest. I'm probably gonna play this game realistically, like just out of curiosity. You know, how do they react to all the feedback from Borderlands 3? How do they try to expand this series and make it better? Like, do they continue to go down the path they went down with Borderlands 3, or do they kind of learn from the mistakes there a little bit and bring it back towards more like a in between of Borderlands 3 and Borderlands 2 in terms of gameplay?
Mhm.
I'm curious about that. So in that sense, I am anticipating this game. I'm a shit talker with it. I shit talk Randy Pitchford all the time. You know, I'm not. I should talk Gearbox with the series for sure. But at the same time, I still do have some amount of hope for it, to some degree, and I probably will play it. Now, if you play it, this is a great co-op game for us to play. This would be awesome. You know, Borderlands is always fun in co-op.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, in my history with it, I've not really played co-op Borderlands very much, but it fucking rules. So that might be something that saves the game for me if you end up playing it, or some of our other friends maybe decide to pick it up or something like that. So, I mean, you have any interest in Borderlands 4?
Um Borderlands always let me down as far as the gameplay. Um I thought 3 I just don't like the global cooldown thing. I think that's like I hate that actually. I
Well, hold
tolerated it
on.
in
What do you
2.
mean? What do you mean?
Like you only get one ability. And I
Yeah,
think
well,
in Borderlands
this is what
3,
this is what I tried to explain with 3. I'm sorry, continue. I'll get into my thing in a second. Yeah, go ahead. I don't mean to
and I,
interrupt
and
you.
I, I believe in 3, you get two abilities, or one character gets two abilities,
One
but
character, Zane. Yeah.
but if you use one ability, everything's on cooldown.
No, that wasn't true.
Okay,
You could use
that
both at the
wasn't
same
true.
time. That was the whole point of the
Okay,
character. Yeah.
okay,
Which that
okay,
was a new thing for Borderlands. They'd never done that before.
okay.
So yeah.
I just think the game, like I like Borderlands 1 or 2. I like Borderlands 1 and 2. Um, Even though they only had one ability, um, I don't know, it was just the way you can use that one ability, but I
Yeah.
did want like an additional ability. I'm like, man, hopefully Borderlands 3 when that comes out, we could use two abilities or something like that, right?
Yeah.
And they didn't do it. And Borderlands 3 came out, I was just like, I'm not interested in this game. And it's like, I hope they don't do that for Borderlands 4, but I feel like they are. I feel like it's just gonna be more of the same.
Yeah.
But they're gonna add more guns, and which is like, speaking for someone with guns, like that's not the point. That's not what I want. I want my
Right.
character to be the asset or the main thing, and then the gun to be an asset to me, if that makes
Yeah.
any sense.
Enhances your
Um,
build rather than
and
being the
yeah,
build. Yeah.
exactly. Because that's what I like about like Destiny. It's the best of both worlds. When I was playing Destiny, you had abilities, even though you had like one or two abilities. Um, your gun also revolved around how you built your character, or how your play style with the character, whatever the case may be. So,
Yeah.
um, I just hope Borderlands 4 is a little bit of that. But then in the trailer, when they showed the guns raining down, purple, green, gold, I was like, oh
Yeah.
fuck, here we go again. Like,
Yeah. I
I
mean,
think I'm just,
that's always been in the series, though. To be fair, it's the
yeah,
first real looter shooter that we've ever had, and they
yeah,
kind of embrace that.
that's true. That is true. But it's just, I'm over it. Like I just want a little
Yeah,
bit more from
sure,
Borderlands.
sure,
So
sure. Yeah, I mean, this genre is well worn at this point, right? I mean, we have dozens of games that have aped this game's format in some ways. But to your point, right? To just put a bow on the whole discussion about Borderlands 2 verse 3. 2, yes, every character only had one action skill. However, the way the game worked was every skill in the skill tree revolved around that action skill. So depending on the build you went down, you're enhancing your action skill in certain ways that gives it more abilities or changes the way the power works in some way.
Yeah.
to kind of give you some build diversity with it and enhance your character. And I feel like in 2, the focus for every character in Borderlands 2 was around their action skill and how you use their action skill in combat. The guns you put on and the equipment you put on that character was all to enhance the way your action skill worked. For instance, like I'll go with Zero. He's the most obvious one. Zero's action skill was that he would go invisible. And when he came out of stealth, you could either shoot someone to get out of stealth and you would do bonus damage, or you could melee them. The melee would have a much more significant bonus to its extra damage than the gun. But the way melee damage worked in Borderlands 2 is that there weren't weapons to enhance your melee attack. So you would simply, it was just a set value that every character had when they leveled up. So, for instance, at level 1, you did 10 damage with your melee. At level 2, you did 20. At level 3, you did 28. Shit like that. And that
Yeah.
was a static value that couldn't be changed outside of enhancing, skill points in your skill tree or equipment you had on. Or your ability maybe. So with Zero, for instance, his whole thing was one of the best build for him was to focus on the melee aspect of the character, and get equipment that would enhance your melee attack, make it more viable, make you attack faster, make you do more damage, make you heal off meleeing enemies, shit like that. So what you would do is, because deep into his tree, if you meleeed somebody and killed them in one shot, you would apply the stealth. So you would go back into your action skill and you could just chain combo it where you're invisible, through an entire encounter, and you kill every enemy in one hit. But there was another skill deep in the tree where in the stealth, you could throw kunai that would put status effects on enemies as well. And one of them was slag, which was the one that enhanced your damage, like made you do double damage or whatever to enemies. So what you would do is you go into stealth, throw the kunai. Hopefully you get slag. If you do, you kill that enemy, and then you're back in stealth and you do it again. You're kunai. And you're just kind of like running around the battlefield invisible and fucking going in and out of invisibility. And it was fucking sick, dude. Like it's I know it sounds simplistic and it almost sounds stupid where you don't actually get hit because you're in stealth the whole time, but you can fuck it up. Like you can do it wrong. You might not do enough damage to kill the enemy in one hit, depending on what the enemy is, stuff like that. So it's more nuanced than that, right? With it. So that's what I mean. Borderlands 3 to me didn't have any characters like that where you kind of like build your whole character around that ability like that. I just felt like the abilities were so secondary in Borderlands 3 because I played Zane, and he was the one that let you do two. You had two action skills, and they just felt like they didn't impact the fight at all. Like I just felt like I was just killing things with my guns. And that was the character, and it just didn't. Maybe it was just a Zane problem. I don't know. I didn't ever played any of the other characters, but it didn't feel great to me. And so I'm hoping with 4 they go back to more of the design style of 2, where your action skill is, or action skills if you have multiple, is how you play your character. It's not about the guns necessarily. Because yeah, if you played Zero, dude, you didn't really shoot guns a lot of the time. It wasn't about shooting guns with him. Which is funny because that's the whole game's like marketing strategy is guns, guns, guns. But it's like that's not how you play Zero. He's a melee character.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like, and then Maya's another one. Like she had an ability where she could kind of CC an enemy in the air. And that ability, the way you use that ability in combat was crucial to fighting with her, because eventually in one of her skill trees, you get an ability when you use her action skill, it sucks all the enemies around into it. So you can like throw a grenade on top of them and kill them all, or some shit like that. Like, so it totally changes the way your combat works. Whereas I remember with Zane, he had this like drone and this like turret or whatever, and I would just throw them out and they would just run around and like shoot things on their own. It was just like completely boring. Like there was no interactivity to it for me at all. It felt like shit. So that's where I'm at with Borderlands. I need Borderlands 4 to kind of go backwards and at least kind of go back to that design philosophy of 2, where your skills impacted combat a little bit more, and that you built your character around those skills, not the other way around, where the skills just kind of were like an add-on to your guns. So yeah.
Yeah, I
Um,
just I just
yeah,
feel
good.
like, the the Borderlands 2, the Vault Hunters in there were way more memorable than the ones
Mm-hmm.
and
100%. The only one
yeah, because
that's not
like
true for is Axton. He was super boring.
yeah,
He put a
he was
he
the
put a
typical
turret
commando
down.
dude.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he just put a turret down that automatically shot enemies. That was it. Like his sucked. He was the shittiest character in that game for sure.
yeah, but like you had Salvador, you had Craig, you had Maya. What was the robot name?
Oh, it was
The girl with the robot.
yeah, it was Gage
Gage,
or
yeah. So
Gage. I
I
don't
mean,
remember. Yeah,
yeah, you had all these characters that look like very distinct. Like I said, besides Axton, he looked like the typical
right.
Call of Duty shooter guy.
Yep.
But everybody else looked like had very. And then you look at Borderlands 4 Vault Hunters, and I didn't even know those are the playable characters. Like
Yeah.
that's how bad they looked.
Yeah.
So I don't know. The designs are yeah, it says there's an article saying the new Vault Hunters designs in Borderlands are actually fine. You're all just being mean. I genuinely did not know those are our Vault Hunters. Like I did
Yeah.
not know. The
Yeah.
only person I could tell that has a sort of a design is a siren, one of the sirens. That's it.
Yep. Yeah.
Uh, Everyone else looks very generic and within the Borderlands ethos. They look very generic. If that makes any sense.
Definitely.
Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, I don't know.
Okay. All right. Let's move on to the next game. We both have this one. It's Fable. We don't know
Yes.
when this is coming out. We're not even sure this is actually coming out this year, right?
Yeah, I'm
Microsoft's
not too
not.
sure.
They've not confirmed this or anything, but the belief is that it is coming this year in 2025. So, um, I don't know how much there is to say about this game for me, though. Realistically, I mean, we've seen a good amount, but not like enough for me to like really understand the game at a deep level. Like we don't know how much of an RPG it is. We don't know how big it is. We don't even really know if it's open world. Um, it seems to be very cinematic. There's kind of a cinematic element to it for sure with some of the earlier trailers they showed us. Um, but yeah, so I mean, what are you feeling on this game right now? Are you confident in it?
Uh, I don't know, man. I from what I know of the Forza team, people say that Forza team is really good at making video games. So, uh, I'm confident in that aspect of it because like each Forza game I play has been like phenomenal.
Yeah.
But this is a new. This is not a racing game. Um, but I don't know. Like I need to see a little bit more. And then from what I that article you read a couple of weeks ago saying like it's more along um Witcher 3 combat,
Mm-hmm.
which I was against it at first, right? And then I went back and I was like, man, hold on, let me go back and play or just look at gameplay from Fable 2 and 3. And it is more like so of a primitive Witcher style combat,
Definitely. Yeah, that's
Witcher
true.
3 style combat. So I was like, okay, well, if they can just, make this look pretty, make it more fluid, I'm totally on board with it. So uh I am looking forward to it, but I definitely want to see more gameplay for it as well as like the story aspect of it,
Mhm.
the RPG mechanic aspect of it, and everything like that. Because that was a big part of Fable. Like you can immerse yourself in the world, especially in Fable 2. Like you can get STDs, you can own houses, you can have kids and all that shit
Yeah,
like that.
yeah,
Like it was
yep.
crazy the amount of shit you can do in that game. So yeah, they kind of took all that away in 3. Uh but yeah, 2 was definitely like peak Fable, and I hope they go back to like what made 2 really great, in my opinion.
Mhm. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I'm in the same boat. I think I agree with you. Two's the one I played of the Fable games, and it was pretty memorable. I will say, like, it was crazy what the shit you could do in that game. I remember walking up to every building and like, there's like a sign, and you can buy the fucking building,
Yeah.
in the game and shit. Then like, I never actually got that far where I could do that, in the game, but I'm sure there was a whole bunch of shenanigans you could do. Once you did own a building, you could like shut it down, you could burn it down, you could rebuild it or something, maybe. I don't know. Stuff like that. So it's always been an interesting franchise, and this seems like a big game for Microsoft as well. It's the one game on my list that's a Microsoft game, and I don't know. I think it's just going to be a big release for them whenever it does come out. So I'm
Yeah.
hoping they hit the mark with it for sure. Okay. Let's go. So you do have one more game actually on here that does have a release date. So let's go with that one next, which is Dynasty Warriors Origins, coming on January 17th.
Yeah, I played the demo. The demo was actually pretty fun. So that that's like the combat's a little bit more refined,
Okay.
a little bit more fun. You can control your armies a little bit more in this
Okay.
game. It looks more. It looks like they put a little bit more money behind the Dynasty Warriors franchise. So I'm very interested in playing this game in about 3 weeks. So,
Okay. And it's still the same old shit though. Like you're just beating the shit out of like giant armies and stuff, and then eventually you
yeah,
fight like
yeah,
a
it's still
boss
that
enemy.
shit, but yeah, it's
Okay.
still that shit. But they refine like the duels and the combat as
Okay.
far as like how you do stuff. It's a little bit more Devil May Cry ish, but it's not as janky as the older games were. If that makes any sense. Which I like the jankiness of the older games. It just became repetitive, but this one looks like it's trying to rebrand the franchise a little bit. It still has the core elements of what Dynasty Warriors is though, but just a
Yeah.
little bit of like rebranding it and everything like that. So I actually appreciate that you can control your armies a little bit more. So
Yeah. That's
yeah.
cool. Okay. Well, let's check. Let's do the next game on my list, which is Ghost of Yotai. Obviously the follow up to Ghost of Tsushima from 2020, from Sucker Punch. I think we both expressed some disappointment when this game was revealed that Jin Sakai is not going to be the main character, and he's not even actually going to be in the game at all. Really, that is disappointing. But at the same time, I do trust Sucker Punch to a degree to make a great game. Ghost of Tsushima was a great game, and it was a bit of a surprise in how great it was. So I will say, from a gameplay standpoint, I am absolutely excited about this game for sure. This is the Assassin's Creed game that's kind of more up my alley, in terms of
Yeah.
its styling for sure. So very interested in it. We don't have a release date. I'm sure it's going to be the back half of the year, probably in 2025, but we shall see on that front. Montrell, I noticed this game's not on your list though. Did you just like forget about it, or you're not actually excited about it?
I have to look at more like gameplay from it to be excited
True,
about it, to
which
be
we've
honest
seen
with you.
none. To be
Yeah,
fair,
exactly.
yeah,
Um if it's more of the same, I'm still gonna play it, but I don't know if I'm gonna be like super hyped to play it. And like you said, I was disappointed that it wasn't more of Jin Sakai. But I actually do like the time period they're going into, where it's like, Japan starting to actually trade with other parts of the world and stuff like that. So we're
yeah,
going to that time period, which is really cool. And
yeah,
it's always cool to see that. But yeah, I don't know. I kind of been also been kind of like not trying to look up any information on this because every time I type in Ghost of Yotai, my YouTube goes
oh god,
completely crazy, and it's just like,
yeah.
if I type in Ghost of Yotai right now, the second one is Ghost of Yotai is a step too far, and it's like, what is it? What? Because it's a woman, bro. Like I
We
don't
can't win, dude. It's just they can't win, dude. Like the developers can't win.
yeah. So I don't know, man.
You're just
Yeah.
waiting to see more. That's
Yeah, I
fair,
just
which
want to
is
see
totally
more.
fair.
Yeah, yeah.
Which
I
is
can't
totally
find
fair.
anything right now on the if I try to look up anything else, like any like leaked news or anything, because I usually do that for games I really am looking forward to. But everything is just so the algorithm for YouTube is just so engagement driven that it's just trying to like drum
Yeah,
up like bullshit. So
yeah.
I'm just gonna wait until like official news drops for it, and then look at the gameplay because it looks like she has dual swords. So I'm actually very interested in seeing
Mm,
that if they're gonna have like different styles of dual swords. If that's going to be her style, where she has like four different styles for dual swords, or if that's just one style.
yeah.
Uh, whatever. So
Yep. And yeah, I don't know. There's not much more to say for me.
yeah,
I'm interested in the game, but I agree with you, though. I definitely want to see gameplay next time they show it for sure. So, all right, let's move on to our next game. We both have this one is Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater. I know you were a little hesitant to even put this on your list, but I don't know what to expect here, right? The rumors are that they're actually being very careful with remaking this game,
Hmm.
and they're trying to be as true to the original as possible, which is good. That's certainly good news. I will say, Metal Gear Solid 3 is my least favorite Metal Gear Solid game of
Yes,
any of
I can
them.
agree. I can agree with that.
So on that front, I'm not necessarily super excited about it. But I will say, dude, I mean, we haven't had a Metal Gear Solid game in 10 years by the time this comes out, probably. So it's just nice to have one, after such a long time. It's gonna be great to have this series back in the zeitgeist, people talking about it, getting excited about it. And I'm just kind of hoping they do a good job with it.
Yeah, I agree. I like Metal Gear 3, but it's my second to favorite or second least favorite. Metal Gear Solid 4 is actually my least favorite Metal
Oh my
Gear.
god, you're one of those people.
Yeah, bro. I'm sorry.
God,
It's just
dude.
not a good
Y'all are
game, bro.
fucking y'all need to fucking Jesus Christ, dude. I can't stand this. I hate this is opinions are opinions, right? You can all have your little opinions.
I
Okay.
played. Okay,
But
listen. Okay, I want
yeah.
to get it out on the record.
Okay.
I felt like this before everyone else. Like I wasn't a terminal online person. Like I wasn't
Yeah.
online like that. When I
Yeah.
played the game, I was just like, oh, this is cool, but I don't want to replay it again. And that's what it was. I was just like, I don't want to replay it again. It's like it's the end of a saga, yes, but there was so little gameplay. Like, and that it what makes it so frustrating for me for Metal Gear Solid 4 uh was that the gameplay was vastly improved over Metal Gear Solid 3.
Oh
So
my
it
god,
was just
dude, it really was.
yeah, it was
It's crazy,
it,
man.
it had all the stuff I wanted that Metal Gear Solid like that can be like if you took Metal Gear Solid 4's like movement combat and put it in Metal Gear Solid 3 as it is, Metal Gear Solid 3 would probably be the best Metal Gear game ever. But it's
Yeah.
like it's not. And it's on Metal Gear Solid 4, and Metal Gear Solid 4 limits your gameplay in favor of cutscenes. And I
Yeah.
just I don't agree with that. Now I will say the cutscenes were like mwah, like whew,
Yeah.
especially the riding fight.
Yeah.
Especially my personal favorite was the solid. It wasn't a cutscene, but it was a fight. But the Solid Snake and Ocelot fight when they're fighting on top of Metal Gear, that
Yep.
was
Oh my
fucking
god.
cool.
I love that. That
Uh,
was so
um,
cool. Yeah.
I actually like the cutscene or the quick time event where you have to go through the fucking the ventilation
The
shaft or the heat thing.
microwave?
Yeah, the microwave. I love that part.
Yeah, yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. See what I
so,
mean? Come
so
on,
I
dude.
I love those parts of the games.
Okay.
It's just that like if you talking about from a pure gameplay perspective, like of everything combined, Metal Gear Solid 4 has the best cutscenes, but it does not have the best gameplay. So that's why I still give it to Metal Gear Solid 2 because it has the best of both worlds, in my
Yeah,
opinion.
I would agree. I
Uh,
think 2 is the
yeah,
best game, probably.
yeah. But
So
yeah,
whenever they
3,
remake
like
2, it'll be the best one.
they shouldn't remake 3. I mean 2, they should just leave it.
I
Leave it the
mean,
way it is.
dude, 2 needs modern controls though, bro. Those
That's
fucking
true. That's true.
dude,
Those,
the first person shooting controls are awful in those games, man. 2 and 3, Jesus
yeah, that's
Christ.
true. So
You can't even
I
move. Like you can't strafe when you're aiming. Like
that's true. That's true. I do think I do think Delta, if it just has Metal Gear Solid 5 controls and movement, um, and they keep everything the same, like you can tell that's what they wanted to do in Metal Gear Solid 3. They just didn't know how to fucking do it at the
yeah,
time.
right.
Um, what really killed me about Metal Gear Solid 3 though is you can crouch, but you can't crouch walk, and that really fucking irritated me for some reason.
Yeah, man.
Like,
4. Remember in 4, that was the first time you could ever crouch walk in the series, and they
yeah,
had like a
man.
crouch walk counter at the end of the game, like how much you crouch walked, and I think I crouch walked through like 80% of the game or something. Like, it- oh
Yeah, the
man,
movie in 4 just felt really good.
yeah,
If they can remake 4 and like make the cutscenes like more playable, I think that would be like really cool. Make like a director's cut of the
or
game or
make
whatever
like
the case.
larger sections of levels. I mean, I get what you're saying. I understand what you mean.
Yeah,
I mean, because I remember the second level you go to, the one in South America.
yeah,
Do you remember that where there's like open warfare happening that you're trying to get through? Dude,
yeah, yeah.
that level fucking rules, man. That is such a cool area. Like that shit was. I remember when I played through it. I remember I just kind of got caught up in the fight, and I just was like trying to like really learn the game's mechanics, and I was actually participating in the battle, and I was killing people, like shooting them and stuff, and just trying to feel the controls and how the guns felt and stuff. And dude, as a game, like as a shooter, it actually feels really good to play.
Yeah, I know.
Um,
That's what makes it
and
so crazy, man.
I was there for like an hour just shooting guys, dude. I'm telling you, like in the middle of that battlefield, like I literally was doing that, and
Well, that's why like Metal Gear Solid 5 feels so good. Like it's a really solid shooter.
yeah.
Have you played Metal Gear Solid 5?
Hmm.
Okay, yeah,
Not
it's just a really
not deeply. No, it's another one on the list, right? I played Metal Gear Solid 5 for like maybe 5 to 10 hours. And my issue with 5 is the opposite of your issue with 4. There's not enough
it's too much.
cutscenes.
Yeah, it's too
Yeah,
much.
it's
It's too
too
much
much
gameplay.
gameplay. It's too much gameplay. I need more cutscenes, bro. And it's like everything I've ever heard about that game is that there's barely any story in it at all, you know? And
That's why I
yeah.
can't give Metal Gear Solid 5 like the best title as well. Like uh because that one has the best gameplay, but it just doesn't have the best
Mhm.
story. It lacks boss fights and all that other stuff like that. The game was clearly unfinished, and they just left it unfinished. And I
Yeah,
didn't like that at
it's
all.
frustrating.
Yeah, so um yeah, they clearly had to cut corners. Hopefully they don't do this. Hopefully I want this game to sell well, because what I really wanted to do is I really want them to go back to Metal Gear Solid 5 and like kind of finish that game or remake that game,
Mm,
uh,
mhm. Yeah.
and add stuff and everything like that. Probably with Kojima's blessing or whatever the case may be. So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
All right. What's your next game that you want to talk about?
So I do have Yakuza like a dragon pirate Yakuza that comes out February 20th. It's actually just DLC, I believe. I don't either it's a full game or it's just DLC.
I think it's
I can't tell.
DLC, but it might be standalone.
Yeah, I think it's standalone DLC.
Yeah.
In this game, you can actually jump and do air combos, so I'm interested in that. So that's the
Mm.
primary reason I'm playing this game.
Wait,
And
so
on
is
top
it
of
an
that,
action? Is it an action game?
it's an action game. Yeah,
Oh, then it is standalone. Cause yeah, so Infinite Wealth. It's not part of Infinite Wealth, the one that came out this year.
oh, okay, okay.
No, I'm asking, is it or is it not?
No, I mean they're all like tied in with each other. Like
No,
if
I
that makes
know.
any sense.
I know. So yeah, but I mean, if this is an action game, Infinite Wealth was turn based. So
Yeah,
I
this is
mean, I guess
taking
they're
place.
not.
This is taking place after the events of Like a Dragon: Infinite Wealth.
Gotcha. Okay.
But you're playing as one of the main characters. His name's Majima, and
Yeah.
if you play like or not like a dragon, but if you play Yakuza in general, he's like in the first game, him and I think his name's Kuro. I always forget the main character's name. Him
Yeah.
and the main character like have like a pack where he's like, I don't care where you're at, I'm just gonna randomly fight you.
Yeah. Yeah.
He does that through the entire series. He just randomly comes out of nowhere, like, I'm gonna fight you now. And it's just his thing. He's like a crazy ass character. So
Yeah.
uh yeah, I don't know. I want to recommend Yakuza to people, but it's not everyone's cup of tea because it's so much shit to do. It's not just a beat 'em up game. Like there's other
Yeah. It's
stuff
like
to be gained.
GTA.
Yeah, yeah, almost like a little mini GTA. So
Yeah.
uh it's just I don't know, it's just really cool. But yeah, he's one of those characters though that just is really funny to me.
Yeah. Like I don't understand how they pump these games out so fast, dude. Like, I mean, Infinite Wealth just came out last year. Obviously, they're very likely reusing a lot of assets from that game. I would assume
Yeah,
assets
they
and
are. Yeah.
locations and stuff. But but that wasn't an action game. So they made an action game on top of it. So I don't know. This game looks insane. I don't know. Like, I want to play these games, but there's too many of them, man.
There are. It's an
It's
investment. It's
and
definitely an investment.
as you said, they're all linked together, so it's not like you can just jump into one and fucking be fine. Like, you're not gonna know who half the characters are.
Yeah.
So yeah. Well, that does look cool though. That's pretty cool. You said February 20th it's coming out.
Yeah. February 20th. Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. All right. Let me talk about a couple of my games. We kind of got out of sync a little bit here, so I'll go with Lunar Remastered. This is just, I mean, it's not much to say here, right? It's a remaster of the Lunar games from the 90s. I have never personally played these games, but I remember my brother playing them, and he fucking was just obsessed with Lunar when we were kids. And this is a series that is very beloved for JRPG fans. So this is my opportunity to play it in an easy way. So I'm just excited about it from that front. There's really not much more to say about it than that, but yeah, I'm definitely anticipating that game. You have any interest in Lunar, Montreal?
I don't think so. I think this was one
No.
of the games I was just gonna skip,
Okay,
unfortunately.
fair enough.
Yeah.
Okay. And then the other game I have on here is GTA 6. So I put a question mark on this one too because I've really never played GTA.
Okay.
But I will say the series has become so huge and has such a massive budget behind it that it is almost a series I feel like I need to play just out of like just to educate myself in the sense of what does a $1 billion budget get you in video games, you know? And
Mhm.
I'm morbidly curious about it from that perspective. Because I mean, Rockstar has been like this for a long time, but and I don't really play their games. I haven't played Red Dead, either of the Red Dead games. I haven't played any of the GTA's except for I played Vice City for like a few hours, and I like delivered pizzas, I think, in that game or something. But yeah, I've never really been a part of this. And it was for a long time, it was kind of just a lack of interest. Like GTA as a concept isn't super interesting to me. And I'd say that's still largely true, but like I said, given what these games are now and the budgets they have, I just feel like I want to give this game a look and try it out, So, what about you? Are you anticipating GTA?
Not really. I played GTA a lot. I played GTA 3 a lot. I actually played the
Yeah.
first GTA when I was super young. I didn't know what the fuck I was playing. I did not like it. It was a top-down game. So anyone who says they love GTA 1 and 2, they're fucking lying because that shit was ass to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh GTA 3 was the one I played a lot, and I didn't get into the story because I was just doing random shit. I have like maybe
Yeah.
50 or 60 hours of me just doing random shit. Never beat the game. I was just doing random shit, some
Listening to
cheat
the
codes and stuff like
radio. Yeah.
yeah. Same thing for Vice City. I actually did get into the story. And then 4, I did not like 4. A lot of people like 4. I kind of did not like it at all. 5 is the one I actually played and I beat it to completion. I actually played the story.
Mm,
I think the game was pretty good. You can definitely see where the money goes in those games. Um, from the voice acting to the mocap to the environment to how the
yeah.
NPCs act in the environment, the police and all that stuff. And then you can do multiple things in just a single player alone. Not to mention like GTA 5 has a whole role playing server that people just role play in, and they're this other character of themselves on GTA or whatever.
Yeah.
There's whole YouTube's dedicated to it and everything. I believe in the GTA Online, like when you talk on mic, your character's mouth move in the game as well. So
Oh
it's just a
wow.
lot of it's just a lot of stuff they put a lot of stuff into
Yeah.
GTA. So I can definitely see where all that money is going. I'm actually interested. I'm more interested in the story in the single player aspect of GTA 6 than like the online aspect of it. I know that's what it morphed into. But yeah, I just always like the offline, what I
Yeah.
can do within my world, the story and everything like that. Because I thought the in GTA 5 up to up until GTA 5, you only played with one character. In GTA 5, you play with three characters, and you
Mm,
swap the story in between them, and you see what goes on in between them, and you can do heist and stuff like that. So like coordinated heist and everything like that, and they can go wrong and everything. So you can also do that online as well. You can play heist missions and stuff like that,
yeah.
and
Okay.
so 6, I mean, I'm looking forward to it, but I like almost kind of like you. Like, I just never really been a big GTA. Like, I gotta play this game now. It's always been like I played it because I felt like I was missing out on something. Well, GTA 3, I played it because like I got it for Christmas, and I was just like, oh, I'm gonna play this game, and it was like really fun.
Yeah.
Uh, 4, I actually like game flied it, and I was like, I returned it the same day when I game flied it. Remember GameFly? That was a good
Mm-hmm.
that was a good service.
Yeah.
Uh, but then 5, I actually Vice City I beat, and then because I like the story in Vice City, I like that time period, that whole Scarface '80s era of Miami type place or whatever.
Yeah.
And then five, yeah, I beat, and I like the story of five, but I didn't. I never played. I mean, I played it online a little bit, but I didn't go in depth like the community did. So, I say I'm not really interested, but clearly I am. But I'm not chomping at the bit for it. Like I'm not like, oh, I can't wait for it to come out. The games I really want to play, honestly,
Yeah.
is Red Dead Redemption because I played Red Dead Revolver, and I
Yeah.
played
Yeah.
I beat Red Dead Revolver, and I really want to play Red Dead Redemption. Uh, I, I I got through like 40 hours of Red Dead Redemption 1, and I
Mhm.
really want to play Red Dead Redemption 2. Um,
Yeah, me
because I
too.
just heard it's just so good. That's why
Yeah.
and it looks really fun to play in that world and everything of that nature. So
Yeah.
and even in that game, you can see where the money goes. Like it looks
Yeah.
like, you
Yeah.
know, everything where all the money goes and everything. So that's why I kind of have faith in Rockstar to kind of build a really good world and player experience and everything like that. This is one of the few games where I don't bitch about the budget, even though I still think the budget's crazy. I can see where every part of that budget goes.
Yeah.
Especially like Red Dead Redemption. When I watch people play that game, I'm just like, I can't believe this is something you can do in this Western video game. This is fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Like all the
Yeah.
shit people do. So yeah.
Yeah. Um. Yeah. No. By the way, GameFly still exists.
Oh, it does? Oh shit.
Yeah, it does. It does. Yeah. I don't know. I don't think it's the same as the what it used to be. I think you can still rent games, but um, they have like a membership and stuff. You know,
Okay.
you can get games sent to you and swap games. So they're still around. I don't know how well they're doing, but they still exist. So, all right. Let me do one more game, and then I think we'll be back on track here. So this game's been on this list for like fucking 3 years in a row, and seriously, Yacht Club, it's time to shit or get off the pot with this. Is Mina the Hollower? This game needs to come out. I'm sorry. Like, I don't know how hard it is to make a pixel fucking like a Zelda game. Okay, just like release the fucking game already. All right, DJ got us hyped. This was like last year. I think he played the game at like what was it? Did he go to GDC? I think or
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
Like dude, that was like almost 2 years ago now, and it's like this game's still not ready to go. Like, how big is the game? How big are you making the game? Are there fucking 20 dungeons or something in it? It's like just release the damn game already, Yacht Club. So I don't have much more to say about it. I mean, this game again continues to look sick. Like, it looks very exciting to me, but um, it's
The
just it needs to
first
come out.
comment, nice, but no fucking release date.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. No, it's crazy. This game has become like a Hollow Knight Silk Song, where it's just like it's like they continue to talk about the game. We know it's coming, but it's just like when, how many years could you possibly work on this game? So we'll see it when we see it for sure. But what's your next game?
So yeah, my next game is going to be uh Metroid Prime 4. So
Ooh,
uh
yeah,
I mean, not much to say about it. If this game comes out like early next year, this is one of the games how you say like I'm going to play Xenoblade Chronicles X off release regardless. But
okay,
if this game comes out, I'm waiting to the Switch too because I just don't believe the Switch is going to be able to handle it. It looked
yeah,
terrible when they showed that trailer,
yes,
and apparently we weren't the only people that thought that. Other people were like, "Yo, the trailer looks fucking ass." Um, I do have faith though in Retro Studios to make a good Metroid game. Um, I just don't think that trailer is what
mm,
we wanted to see.
yeah.
Um, if that makes any sense. So it looked very Call of Duty ish. I didn't really like it, and everything of that nature. So yeah.
I don't know why they felt the need to show the game like that. 'Cause that's not what Metroid is. Like some cinematic driven shooter. It's like it's a game where you're exploring environments, and like solving
Yeah.
puzzles. Yeah, there's shooting and you fight enemies, but it's like I don't know why they felt the need to show the game like that. It's so weird. I don't know. Metroid's weird for me. I don't like, dude. Metroid Prime is really the only one I like of any of the Metroid games. To be honest with you,
Oh yeah,
I
because
haven't
you don't
played
like
that
the
many of them.
Metroid. You don't like the Metroidvania games like that, do you?
I mean, I do. I loved Lost Crown. It's just they have to be very particular way. I've found, and I think Metroid Prime out of the Metroid games is the only one that I've played that's really like captured me in that
Mhm.
regard. I really don't like Super Metroid. Like, I think that game sucks for the most part. Like,
What?
yeah,
Well, you
I
played the remake or like the first Super
no, I played
Metroid
the original one. No, I'm talking about the original Super Metroid on Super
on the
NES.
Super NES?
Um,
I like that game. It was pretty cool to
yeah, I
me.
played it like I don't know 8 or 9 years ago, and was trying to beat it. And man, I couldn't get through it, dude. I played through like half of it, and I was like, man, this game's just not fun, dude.
Really? I thought that game was like super
It's
fun,
too the
man.
control of Samus in that game is so fucking obtuse. Like, she just controls like shit, and she takes up like a quarter of the goddamn screen for no fucking reason. I don't know why she's so huge.
Well, you know what?
Um,
Like this is the older one, but I feel like if you go back and you play, especially if you have Switch Online, I highly recommend playing like Fusion. Fusion is probably the
okay,
best one out of all of the 2D Metroids.
2Ds,
In
yeah.
my yeah, so I highly like. I would like for you to play that like before the end of the year next year because I think that game's really good. I think Fusion is really
You
good.
giving me homework?
Yeah, man. I'm sorry, bro. I need you to play it. If you don't want to play that, Zero Mission I think is on online as well. So that's I think that's a remake of I think it's a remake of Super Metroid actually.
Yeah.
So uh and it has the Metroid Fusion uh controls and everything of that nature. It is a Game Boy Advance game. But if you don't like that, I think that either you can play Metroid 2 or Metroid I'm sorry,
Samus
Metroid
Returns. You talking about the
Samus
remake?
Returns. Yeah, the remake. That one was a really good one, but I personally like Metroid Dread. I think Metroid Dread is the best one out of all of the 2D Metroid
Okay.
games.
Yeah.
That's the most current one. It's
Yeah.
about 8 hours, and it's really fun as fuck to play. Um,
Okay.
so yeah,
Fair enough. All right. My next game is this was also on last year's was Grim Dawn Fangs of Astrkarn. This got delayed out of 2024 and it's coming in 2025. It looks like I would expect it will actually release this year. Um, again, not much to say about this. I mean, I talked about it last year. It's just another Grim Dawn expansion. It'll bring me back to that game for the first time in a long time. And yeah, just scratch that ARPG itch once again. So, um,
nice.
yeah, is there you have any interest in this one? Because this would be fun to co-op too.
I don't know yet. I'll be trying to get into
I know you've been trying to
RPGs.
get it. I know you've been trying to get into PoE2 and feels like you're bouncing off of it right now. So
Yeah, I just don't want to play with the controller. I don't want to be that guy, but I may have to play with it as a controller.
I don't know why do you have this stigma in your head, dude? Controllers with ARPGs have been a thing for 10 years or more at this
I just
point.
remember when it first was launched, like people were like, "Oh, you're playing with a controller!" Like when
Fuck,
Diablo
who
3.
cares? These fucking idiots online think. What do they get? They're coming into your house. They're gonna bang on your door and be like,
No, but
"Montrell, you're playing PoE2 with a controller. You fucking loser!" Like,
like
come on, man.
I played Diablo 3. I had so
Yeah.
much fun with Diablo 3 on the
Yeah,
controller.
that game, that was the first one that did the controller thing, and it works. Like, it just proved the case that it works for ARPGs, man. Like, so I don't think there's an issue here. And from everything I've heard, is PoE2 is designed for controller. Like, it was built for controller versus mouse keyboard.
Yes.
So
So I think I'm gonna play on a controller. So
okay,
uh
and Grim Dawn has controller support as well. By the
oh, it
way,
does? Okay, that's
yes,
cool.
yes,
Okay.
it's on
Yeah,
Xbox. Like, so
okay.
yeah,
Yeah, I might give it a shot. I just need to play with. I might just need to go over my stigma of a controller because, like, the whole reason I didn't want to play with it on a keyboard and mouse is because I didn't want to lose my league. Because Grim Dawn or not Grim Dawn, but POE has the same buttons
yeah.
as fucking League, but the movement is a little bit differently. So
Yeah, you got to move with the left mouse instead of right, right?
yeah,
So I know that I understand that throws you off a bit. So,
yeah. So
all right, what's your next game?
the last game I have is Expedition
You
33.
got two more.
I do. What's the other one I
Death
got?
Stranding 2.
Oh, I mean, yeah, I mean, Death Stranding 2. There's nothing much more to say about that. I think Kojima does a really good job. Death Stranding 1 was really cool, and we're going to be going back into this world. And it's going to be expanding a little bit more.
Hmm.
And Yeah, I the trailer looked really fucking cool. You're gonna be fighting a lot of different bosses again, and it looks like you have more combat options, which looks really cool as well because you really didn't have that many because you really weren't fighting anybody in Death Stranding one.
Yeah.
You had combat options, but you had to do creative ways to do stuff. But yeah, it looks like in this one they're actually gonna give you more combat options and stuff like that, which I like a lot. I don't
Yeah.
want like a whole shooter or a whole fighter, but I do want just a little bit more combat stuff in the
So,
game.
yeah,
Uh,
I want to play that as well, but I still haven't played Death Stranding 1, so which I know I need to rectify. I know.
yeah, I would say it's one of those games, man. You cannot look at the gameplay; you just have to play it. Like you can't look at the game. If you look at the gameplay for it, you're like, I don't get it. But
No, it's
once you
not out of
play
a
the
lack of
game,
interest, dude. It's not out of a lack of interest. It's just time again. This is a long game. It's like a 50-hour
yeah,
game minimum. Like, so, like, how many of these can I have in my backlog? It's like I can't play them all, you know, realistically. So, I end up having to pick and choose, and this game is just not high on the list at the moment. So,
yeah. So, yeah, that's it for that. And then I'm really interested in the other game, which is Expedition 33. Um, I don't
I
know. This
totally
game just
forgot
look
about this game.
yeah, this game just looked really fucking cool. It's a
Yeah,
turn-based game.
I agree.
I think this is made by a French studio, actually.
Yes, I believe it. I
Um,
believe you're right.
and yeah, it just looks insanely fucking cool. It looks like Persona on steroids, but they're
Yeah,
trying to put their own little twist to it and everything. They have the same like kind of like design philosophy where um they're putting everything as far as like interesting as far as the UI and
yeah,
everything into the game and how it looks. I mean, obviously you can only do so much with turn-based combat, right?
yeah,
To make it like flashy, but they're building everything around the actual combat to make the actual combat look flashy. And then they have like quick time events inside the combat to do like extra damage and stuff like that. It's not on every attack, but on certain attacks, which I appreciate to keep you kind of engaged in it and stuff like that.
yeah,
So
yeah.
um yeah, I don't know. It just looks really cool.
Yeah. No, I agree. This game definitely looks really cool. I forgot about this. This is would be on my list for sure. I don't think we have a release date though, right? It's just
No, we don't.
2025.
It just says 2025.
Okay. So yeah, I'll be looking forward to that for sure as well. So, all right. My last game is Venom. We know
Nope.
Venom is coming out the year before Wolverine more than likely, and it's supposed to be this year. So,
I
um
thought all those games got like pushed back.
they did. It was supposed to come out this year, like 2024, and it got pushed to 2025, and Wolverine got pushed a year back behind that, like 2026, I believe. So, Venom should be coming this year in theory, and this is just going to be the next game in the Spider-Man universe they've created at Insomniac. So, I mean, I'm going to be honest, Spider-Man 2 like was good. It was a good game for sure, but I
Yeah.
left that game a little disappointed in what it was. Like it just kind of felt like more of the same
Hmm.
for the most part. And Venom, the section of the game, spoilers. So go forward like 30 seconds to a minute. The section of the game where you play as Venom in Spider-Man 2 was one of the coolest parts of the game for me. So I think a whole game where you're playing as him is going to be really cool as well. So I'm definitely excited about it from that perspective. I think Insomniac, like, they make great games. They have great gameplay. I have no doubt that they're going to make something at a minimum being very good. So you know, I'm excited about the game, but hoping that it's more Miles Morales style, where it's kind of like 20 hours, 15, 20 hours, something like that.
Yeah, yeah. I don't need a whole 100-hour game. Even though like Spider-Man 2 wasn't like that, but
No,
it
but it
was
was
still
like
long.
30, 35, which is meaty. It's a meaty
Yeah.
game, for sure. So, are you anticipating this one though, Venom?
Nah, not really. I think I'm over like
You done with the Spider-Man?
yeah, I got what I need out of it, to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
um
This is a fair point, because this is something we're seeing with the movies, right? That's happening, where it's just we're running these things into the ground, and then we reboot it, and then we run that into the ground, and then we reboot it, and then we run that into the ground, and then we reboot it, and then we do it again and again and again and again. It's just an endless cycle. because you had asked me about Superman, the trailer for Superman,
Mhm.
that came out like last week, I think, and I just am so I'm just I just don't have any fucks to give anymore about these superhero movies, dude. It's like how many times are we gonna reboot Superman, Batman, Spider-Man? Like it's just like we really are just gonna keep doing this over and over again for our entire lives. You know, it was cool when we were younger, and these things had really like when they had been made, they like didn't have good special effects. The movies were bad. Like the idea of a good superhero movie was a very alluring thing to us when we were young. But we've seen good superhero movies though now. It's like they've been around for 15 years, 15 plus years, and it's just even 20 years going back to like Spider-Man 2. So um I'm kind of at the point where I am with you to a degree on that. Is like I'm kind of over these things, man. Like I'm not a comic book guy. I'm not that into the superhero stuff. So the novelty has worn off. I'm more interested in this because it's Venom versus Spider-Man.
Mhm.
Like Spider-Man 3, I'm actually not sure how excited I'm really going to be for it. So, we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, I feel the same way. I mean, I'm not a super big comic book person as well. The reason I think the Superman trailer looks really good is because, to be frank, we've never really had a good Superman movie. This was like the first good Superman movie. I
Yeah.
know people like to say the Christopher Reeves one's really good. Me personally, I didn't like them like that, and I was young when they came out, so I really didn't understand the significance of them as well.
Is that the
Uh,
Brandon? Are you talking about from the 90s
yeah, from the
or
'90s, people say the
okay?
Christopher Reeves movies were the best
Okay.
ones.
What about the
Uh,
Brandon Ruth one?
I don't know. I
Remember
haven't seen
that
the
one?
Brandon movie. Mm-mm.
Oh, is that his name? Am I even remember the right actor? Brandon Ruth.
Oh yeah, Superman.
Yeah, 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 yeah. From 2006, Superman Returns. This
That
movie
was a
was
movie. Holy
this
shit! I
this
didn't.
movie was this movie was pretty bad to be honest with you.
Oh no.
Um,
Yeah, I don't even remember this movie. That's I forgot all about this movie. Oh, I don't know. And I just really wanted Man of Steel to be cool, but it wasn't. It was okay Superman. It just had the wrong director. Well, Christopher
yeah.
Nolan did Superman Man of Steel, right?
Yes. Correct.
Yeah, I don't
Correct.
know. It was just a weird movie. Um, yeah, I don't know. I feel like this one is gonna cut all the bullshit out, and it's just gonna be like, you already know who Superman is. Let's just go straight into it. And it looks like it's gonna be a really good Superman movie. So, uh, I don't know. That's why I like the Superman trailer. But I definitely I have the same sentiment towards like the video games.
Mm,
Um,
hmm.
it's only so many. Granted, now, granted, this is not the same combat as City or Arkham Batman Arkham Asylum or whatever. It
Yeah.
is a variation of it. Um, and I do like the combat where you can juggle enemies and stuff like that. I don't know what else you can do with the game anymore, in my opinion. Like I don't know what else you can do with Spider-Man 3. Like you're
Yeah.
gonna have to really wow me to be like, and then I don't really, if Venom was like 10-hour or 20-hour DLC, cool. I just don't want a whole full game I'm playing as Venom because I don't really find Venom as a character interesting, if that makes any sense. Like he's
Hmm.
never interesting by himself. He's always interesting with his dynamic with Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Um, but when it's just Eddie Brock, or I think this is going to be Flash, I think.
Yeah.
Um, when it's just them, I really don't care that much. And I know that's like for Spider-Man fans, it's like a blasphemous thing to say, but I just don't care at all. So
Yeah.
that's why I'm not really too interested in the video game or in the game because it's just going to be Spider-Man but with Venom and like,
Yeah.
oh, we get some new attacks and that's it or whatever. I don't know. That's just my opinion. Like even the Wolverine game was supposed to come out because I had that on my list last year. I looked at, and that was supposed to come out this year. But even like the leak footage of the Wolverine game, it's not what I wanted it to be. And it's just like, I'll try it, I'll play it, but not
Yeah.
really, what I really want
Yeah.
it to be. So,
Okay. Fair enough. All right. Well, Montreal, that's the last game. Any other games you want to throw in here that we didn't talk about?
uh,
Honorable mentions.
No, I tried to look for some honorable mention games, but I couldn't really find any.
Um,
Keeping my list short because I really
yeah.
just want to.
Well, 2 games I'm gonna mention. They're out right now in early access. Are Hades 2. Looking forward to that when it's
Mm.
finished, fully released. I'm gonna eat that game up. Like it's gonna be fucking. That game is gonna rule my life probably for a few weeks. And then PoE 2. Obviously, it's in early access. People are playing it and loving it right now, but it is not fully finished. So I don't think it'll be fully finished this year. To be honest with you, it sounds like there's so much content missing that like we're probably a couple of years out from that happening. But um, so those are the 2 games I'm thinking about. Other than this list, but they're already in early access, and you can play them now. So they don't really pertain to what we're talking about necessarily. But all right, well, Charles, that's it. That's our games preview for 2025. This is probably the shortest one of these we've ever done at an hour and a half. These usually go like 3 fucking hours, so I'm proud of us today. It does seem like 2025 overall seems a little light right now. Like I'm not seeing anything on this list that's like a, oh my fucking god, I can't fucking wait. Like there's really,
Well, that's
besides maybe Monster Hunter, like
that's
this,
because like all these games are like to be announced. Like we
yeah,
don't have a definite date. We
yeah.
don't have gameplay footage of it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So,
A lot of the
um,
games on here, yeah, we have not even seen gameplay. I am positive, I'm sure there are a lot of games we have not heard about that haven't even been announced yet that will be coming this year as well. So, I mean, I'm looking forward to hearing more. As the year progresses, this has kind of become typical in video games. I feel like this is where the industry is now, and this is good. This is a good thing.
yes,
Don't announce games
yes.
until they're close to being released. I don't need you to
I,
announce it 8 years in advance like Todd Howard and Bethesda with Elder Scrolls 6.
yeah, I think we
That's
learned our
fucking
lesson
stupid.
from the first half of the generation and how much people
Yeah.
hate that shit. Like, don't
Yeah.
do that.
I mean, companies have been doing this forever though. Square used to do it so much in the PS3 and PS4
Oh
era,
my
dude.
fucking god! Don't remind me about
Yeah.
fucking Square and Final Fantasy fucking 13
Or
versus.
Kingdom Hearts
And
3 or yeah, dude, like Kingdom Hearts 3 was announced like 6 years before it came out. Like shut up, dude. Like
they did it with Kingdom Hearts
they're doing it with
4,
4 as well. Yeah, they're doing it with 4 as well. Like which I have no faith that game's coming out this year. So it's like yeah.
and they actually did it with 16 as
Yeah,
well.
they
16
did.
was announced like 4 years before it was supposed to come out and shit like that. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, so I'm happy that most of the industry, it feels like, has learned that lesson and is kind of waiting very close to their game coming out to really announce it. I think that's
I
the best way
think
to do
it's
it.
because it hurts their stocks. Like when games like announce games, their shares may go up, right? But
Mhm.
then once you say, "Oh, this is delayed," your shares go down. I'm pretty sure that happens a
That's
lot.
definitely an impact. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So
So yeah, but all right. Well, we're gonna get out of here, I guess. We will see you guys in the new year. It'll be 2025 the next time you hear us, and next week's episode will be our games of the year for 2024. We'll talk about all the games we enjoyed this year. Remember, it's not a list; like we're not ranking them. We're not going to have a definitive game of the year. We just talk about the games we enjoyed playing this year, whether they came out in 2024 or not. So that'll be next week. And Montreal, what do you have lined up for the rest of the day? Do you want to play some League? Are you feeling degenerate today?
yeah, man, let's get me into silver, bro. Let's
Let's
go.
get into the rift. Let's go. Okay, all right. That's where Montrell and I are going. Our heads are gonna be fucking pumpkins by the time we're done with the day. But we're gonna do it anyway. So all right, guys. So if you like this episode, please like the show, review the show, subscribe to the show on whatever feed you're listening to it on, and please subscribe to us on YouTube. If you'd like to interact with us on Twitter, you can do so at iTrap for the Hokage for Montreal. That is the number 4, not the word. I'm at ThunderNut01, and the show is at the Player's Take. If you'd like to send us a question, you can do so on Twitter, or you can send us an email to theplayerstake01@gmail.com. We hope you guys enjoyed this episode. We'll see you next week.